badness no go see me. I don't go see me. Hey, Trama no go see me. Squishy no go see me. Cody no go see me. Now my prayer be that. Today, now my body. Today, now my body. Today, now my body. Today, now my body. Today, plenty people taking Trama kiki pockets. I am alive. Plenty people taking codeine kiki pockets. I am alive. Plenty people taking mamba kotu sockets. I am alive. Plenty people taking squishy kotu sockets. Today, I go shake my body. Today, like say I don't care. Today, as I am growing older. Today, I'm becoming better. Today, as I am growing older. Today, I'm dropping bad habits. Today, I'm going higher. Even if I don't go banana, running like a fire, and I don't go like the fire. They go samba damba, yamba damba, yamba langa, yamba langa. Million no go see me. I don't go see me. Backwardness no go see me. I don't go see me. Hey, Trama no go see me. Squishy no go see me. Cody no go see me. Now my prayer be that. Today, now my body. Today, now my body. Today, now my body. Today, now my body. Today, plenty people taking Trama kiki pockets. I am alive. Plenty people taking codeine kiki pockets. I am alive. Plenty people taking mamba kotu sockets. I am alive. Plenty people taking squishy kotu sockets. Today, now my body. Today, now my body. Today, now my body. Today, now my body. Today, plenty people taking Trama kiki pockets. I am alive. Plenty people taking codeine kiki pockets. I am alive. Plenty people taking mamba kotu sockets. I am alive. Plenty people taking squishy kotu sockets. I am alive. It's my birthday, and I'm happy, for the life and the hope I see. Even though it no do me, even do my body, even though it no buy me, he don't buy somebody, even though you never, even though you want to, already no bother, you don't want to you, even though you didn't know, now you know.
Our compatriots in Europe are conversation on this space today. We are live from the national headquarters of Nigeria's premier anti-narcotic agency, that is NDLEA, located in the nation's federal capital territory, Abuja. This is a platform where we share information, knowledge on Facebook and at NDLA_Nigeria on YouTube. You can always go back even after this conversation, after this program, and listen to the recording. You can also share with others. Now we're going to be moving fast because what we have today, it's definitely an interesting one. And we have someone very capable to lead the conversation today. And I can tell you that indeed, since the first flyer went out on Wednesday, we've been having quite some positive feedbacks, interest shown. We're having quite some positive interest shown by our compatriots from all across the world and across our country, Nigeria. Here, so we're going to make this as fast as possible so that we can get as many as we want to contribute to of the conversation today, especially the topic we'll be treating today, which is something at the basis of how our society grows, what our society becomes. That is starting from the home, which is the smallest unit of our society. We know quite that's like the foundation of the society itself. And so that's why we'll be looking at parenting styles and substance abuse among our youths, talking of the Gen Z, the millennials. Then we'll be looking at the risk and the remedies. Well, we know things are not as good as we want them to be, but then is it all that bad? Are there no remedies? All of this would have a professor in the house, that's Professor of Counseling Psychology, Professor Joseph Barineka Kinani, will be leading the conversation. When we get to that point, we'll definitely invite him. He's already he's already in here. So when we get to that point, we'll be inviting him to lead. Before that, we'd like to, before we get to invite our guest speaker, that's Professor J.B. Kinani, to make his presentation. Let's quickly remind you of some of the activities of the agency this past week, and that comes in our news highlights segment, which should be taken now quickly by our own in-house AOP here, that is Blessing Tafa. Blessing, over to you. Let's quickly hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Good day to everyone, and thank you for joining us on this week's X Space. My name is Blessing Tarfa, and here are the NDLEA news highlights for the week. NDLEA intercepts 1,274 parcels of cocaine, Colorado in Lagos, 5.6 million opioid pills in Kano. Arrests actual owner of drug consignment that caused airport fracas in viral video. Operatives of different special units of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, have intercepted large consignments of cocaine and Colorado, a strong strain of cannabis concealed in containerized household items and vehicles imported from Durban, South Africa and Canada at the Tinkan Seaport in Lagos. Following coordinated intelligence and months of tracking of the containers by 3 special units of NDLEA, the illicit drugs along with arms, ammunition, and sundry military effects were seized during joint examination of the 3 containers by the agency's officers and their counterparts from Customs Service and other security agencies between Thursday 18th and Friday 19th January 2024. Some of the agency's sniffer dogs were also deployed to help identify locations and bags used in concealing the illicit items. Some of the items recovered from the containers include 1,274 parcels of cocaine and Colorado with a total weight of 884.09 kilograms, 4 pistols, 197 rounds of 9mm ammunition, 49 rounds of 7.62mm ammunition, 275 rounds of 5.56mm ammunition, 14 rounds of 9mm ammunition, and sundry military personnel effects, as well as some chemicals in kegs. With the exception of 32.5 kilograms shipment of Colorado that came in used vehicles from Canada, the rest of the items were found in 2 of 3 containers that arrived at the Tinkan Airport from Durban, South Africa, on board a vessel marked MSC Resilient 111 and discharged on New Year's Eve, 31st December 2023. A suspect linked to one of the containers, UACU 5348336, bearing the 32.5 kilograms Colorado, 41-year-old Akara Chibugo, has already been tracked and arrested by NDLEA operatives. 2 vigilant flight agents and a traveler escaped being roped into 2 drug trafficking operations by desperate traffickers at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, MMIA, Ikeja, Lagos. The 2 agents were contacted to send a consignment of 1 kilogram cannabis concealed in tins of Milo beverage to Turkey, both to submit the shipment to NDLEA checks before processing the cargo. The psychoactive substance was later discovered to be hidden inside the shipment. In the same vein, NDLEA operatives on Friday 19 January arrested one Okosun Paul Ponnet, the consignee of a consignment of tramadol concealed in a bottle of of Pathfinder International Limited, Ajuzuego Mark Elvis Ugochukwu attempted sending through an intending passenger on Ibom Air to Accra, Ghana at the Lagos Airport on Tuesday 16 January. A video of the face-off between the passenger and Ajuzegu later went viral after the vigilant passenger suspected the consignment contained illicit substances. Both Ajuzegu and the exhibit were later transferred to NDLEA on Thursday, 18 January by the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, FAN, for investigation. Preliminary findings by NDLEA showed the parcel contained 50 pills of tramadol, 225 milligrams, concealed in a bottle of dietary supplements. A follow-up operation by the agency led to the arrest of Okosun upon his return from Ghana on Friday. He has in his statement confirmed ownership of the drug. In Kano, no fewer than 5,653,000 pills of tramadol, 250 milligrams, and Exol 5 were seized from 3 suspects. While Noura Abdullahi, 38, and Tahir Muhammad Mukhtar, 42, were arrested at Bacharwa area of Kano with 5,404,000 pills of tramadol, 250 milligrams on Sunday, 14 January. Yusuf Umar, 50, was nabbed at Gadar Tamburawa area of the state the previous day, Saturday, 13 January, with 249,000 tablets of Exol 5 by NDLEA operatives. In Lagos, 2 suspects, Ali Abubakar and Murtala Sani, were arrested at Ojodu Berger area on Tuesday, 16 January, with 110 kilograms of cannabis sativa, while 69 kilograms of same substance was recovered from the hideout of a fleeing suspect in Akerele, Surulere, same day. Not less than 2,800 bottles of codeine cough syrup were recovered by NDLEA officers on Saturday, 20th January, during a raid operation at Eleta FCT Abuja. The suspected owner of the consignment, Jide Fosochima, is still at large. While a total of 100,510 pills of opioids were seized from a suspect, Ike Emmanuel, 35, on Thursday, 18 January at Ben Anachef Village, Taraba State, NDLEA operatives in Abia State arrested 60-year-old Joseph Ishiguzoro, as well as Emmanuel Eugene and Malakai Indu in parts of Abia State with 34,200 pills of opioids. Isiguzoro was equally found with monetary exhibit totaling 2,885,045 naira only. While commending the officers and men of Tinkan, MMIA, Abia, Taraba, Lagos, Kano, and FCT commands, as well as the special units of the agency for the arrests and seizures of the past week, Chairman Chief Executive Officer of NDLEA, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, retired, urged them and their compatriots across all formations of the agency to remain focused and resolute in the pursuit of the corporate goal of winning the war against substance abuse and illicit drug trafficking in Nigeria. He further charged them to maintain the flame of collaboration with other law enforcement agencies and stakeholders in their areas of responsibility. That's it on arrests and seizures. Now here are the other activities across the country for the week. The NDLEA is sensitizing members of the public to play a role in the fight against the drug menace through the laudable War Against Drug Abuse WADA Advocacy Initiative. This week, awareness campaigns were facilitated in schools and learning centers to ensure that the future generation lives a drug-free life. On Tuesday, 16 January 2024, the Akwa Ibom State Command of NDLEA facilitated an advocacy lecture at the Federal University of Technology, Ikot Abasi. No less than 4 schools received enlightenment lectures on the dangers of illicit drug use and trafficking on Wednesday, 17 January. The Delta State Command delivered same to students and staff of Delta State University, Abaka. The Niger State Command to students of Edusoko University, Bida. The Special Area Command of NDLEA to staff and students of Federal Government College, Ijani King, Lagos. And the Osun State Command to Laro Community Secondary School, Oshobo. Continuing the advocacy visits to schools on Thursday, 18 January, were the Kano State Command at Community Secondary School, Bichi, the Ogun State Command at Oluwasho High School, Junior and Secondary, Imasai, and the Ebonyi State Command at Government Secondary School, Owutu Eda Local Government Area. Concluding the wider activities for the week was the Yobe State Command on Friday, 19 January, with a sensitization lecture at Government Junior Secondary School, Nayinawa, Damaturu. That's the update for this week. My name is Blessing, and I hand you over to our host, Mr. Femi, Baba Femi.
Well, very well. Thank you. Blessing there for a quick one. Now, welcome back from the news highlight segment. Let's remind ourselves about some of the rules guiding our process of engagement on this program today. Please note that when we approve you to be on the speaker's corner, ensure you remain muted until after our guest presentation. I will start inviting individuals to unmute themselves to ask questions and make contributions in few seconds. We don't encourage unauthorized interruption. We also don't discuss politics here. So let's stick to the rules so that we can all enjoy and benefit from our conversation on the subject matter today. That's how we can all enjoy and have a good conversation. We would like to appreciate you for your usual cooperation in this regard. Now, we'll also take your questions and your contributions, not only on the subject matter, but perhaps if there are questions on some of the aspects of the work of the agency, we are here to do that. That is to respond to all of that. Please stay calm and let's enjoy the conversation. Before we go on, let's quickly appreciate some of those already on this space. In no particular order, we'd like to appreciate a regular and the most senior member of this platform, that's Dr. Abdullah. Dr. Abdullah is of the Ahmadu Bello University Teaching Hospital Zaria. He's joining us on the handle of Excel Mental Health Foundation, which he runs and uses the platform to help those suffering substance abuse and other mental health issues. Thank you very much, Dr. Abdullah. I actually waited on you last week. I know you were present on the platform, but then we needed some contributions from you then. We do appreciate that today we're seeing you again, and we do hope that you will be a part of the conversation that is sharing from your depth of experience and knowledge about the subject matter. Okay, we also like to appreciate Dr. Adam Dawood. Dr. Adam Dawood, I've seen Dr. Adam Dawood on the platform. Well, our ever constant John Ogunjimi, I've also seen you there. Thank you for being part of the conversation today. I've also seen Petroti Kemkem. Thank you, Kemkem, for being part of the conversation today. I've also seen Prince Eshimokai. Prince Eshimokai, I guess, is joining us from the US. Prince Eshimokai, welcome. Thanks for being part of the conversation today. I've also seen another member of the platform, that's Wari Pikin. Wari Pikin, thanks for being part of the conversation today. We'll have a whole lot. We'll just be taking time out one after to recognize as many as we can. I've also seen our commander in Kwara, that is Bashir Ibrahim. Thank you for coming around. We'll be appreciating and recognizing a whole lot of you just as time permits. But before we move on, let's quickly tell you about the NDLA's call center, which is another initiative, another platform provided by the agency to bridge the gap between those who are struggling with substance abuse, those who need help, and the needed help. We appreciate the fact that quite a number of people need help, but then they are not too comfortable walking into a treatment center for fear of stigmatization. And one of the reasons, one of the things we have done to help that situation is to provide a toll-free helpline that people can actually call from the comfort of their homes without the fear of being stigmatized or being judged. Our experts at the center, talking of counselors, psychologists, psychotherapists, as well as psychiatric doctors. That's we have consultants there, so they will definitely attend to such individuals. Any member of the family or friend of anyone struggling with substance abuse can call this line, and the number to call is 0800 10203040. I come again, 0800 10203040. That's our toll-free helpline. You are not paying for the call. All you need is to have a telephone line on which you can make dial at the number. Don't forget that the number is a 12 digits, not the regular 11-digit GSM line. So don't think the line is not correct. No, indeed, that's the correct number. Just dial it, and at the other hand, you have our experts ready to listen to you, hear your story, document your issue, and then guide you, assist you, and support you through treatment. They provide teletherapy, and if upon the assessment of your situation, if they need to refer you to any of the treatment and counseling centers close to you, whether that of the NDLA or the private or other government, the ones run by other, government, other government institutions, or the private ones, they will definitely guide you through that. We also like to tell you that indeed the service there, the center is also language sensitive, meaning that if you cannot speak the official language, English or even Pidgin, they can also speak to you on they can speak with you on, in any of the three major languages, that is Hausa, Yoruba, Igbo. So that shows that you really don't have any reason not to seek the needed help. That would indeed appreciate all of those that you know, or those that are struggling with substance abuse, or their friends, whether they're on this platform or not. Please, let's share the number with them so that they can also seek the needed help. We really, really, really need to get help to as many people that are going through this problem. That's that. Now I think Francis, please confirm for me that indeed Professor and the Department of Educational Psychology, Guidance and Counseling, Ignatius Ajuru University of Education, Port Harcourt, Rivers State. He holds a Doctor of Philosophy degree in Guidance and Counseling. Among others, he also holds a certificate in Mental Health and Psychosocial Support based on the Jungian psychotherapy obtained from the East Africa Psychosocial Network, Nairobi, Kenya. That was in 2017. Then having quite a lot of requests. Okay, apart from that, Professor J.B. Kinani also holds a certificate in psychotherapy and healing arts based on Jungian psychotherapy from the East Africa Psychosocial Network, Nairobi, Kenya. That was in 2015. In addition to that, he also holds a certificate in adolescent reproductive health counseling skills awarded by the United Nations Population Fund / Federal Ministry of Health in 2000 and 2002, respectively. At different times in his career, he has held several positions such as warden of students, head of department, that's 2 terms, Director School of Basic Studies, Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic, as well as acting Vice Chancellor for over a year. Awesome. He is currently the Director of the Academic Planning Unit and Chairman of the Governing Board, Graduate School of Business and Maritime Studies, Ignatius Ajuru University of Education, Port Harcourt. That's in Rivers State. He has over 80 academic publications to his credit. His research interests are in psychopathology, that is the scientific study of abnormal patterns of behavior, career counseling, psychology of aging, family life, and HIV/AIDS counseling, as well as psychology of sexual and gender diversities, that is LGBTI, in full, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and intersex issues. Okay, his professional associations include the following. He is a fellow Counseling Association of Nigeria, CASON. He is also a fellow Nigeria Association of Special Education Teachers, NASET. He's a member of Nigeria Academy of Education, a member Nigerian Institute of Management, member Nigeria Society of Educational Psychologists, member Psychological Society of South Africa, and member American Psychological Association. Professor J.B. Kinani is married and the marriage is blessed with children. Okay. Francis, is Prof ready for us now? Just a moment. Let me check that out. I've been seeing him and out of. Okay. Okay, I'm told Prof. I'm told Professor Kinani is struggling with his network, is where he is, his location. Okay. Just a moment, please. Okay, let's see how we can work around this. I've seen Prof come in and out of the platform. I guess okay, he's back again. Let's hope he can. Okay, well, let's hope he can. Just apologies, we're trying to fix the issue with Professor Kinani's network. He keeps just a moment. Okay, let me see how I can run through. Okay.
Can I go on?
Okay, is that Prof?
Yes, I am.
Okay, please, Prof, you can go on now.
Okay, I'm Professor Joseph Kinane of Ignatius Ajuru University of Education, Port Harcourt. I've been asked to talk about parenting styles and substance abuse among youth, the risks and remedies. And I want to begin by saying that we know that the issue of substance abuse is so much a problem in our modern society. And so far, because of time, we'll go straight to talk about the parenting styles. Several things have resulted in the issue of drug use, drug abuse, substance abuse among young people, and one of them is parenting styles. And I want to look at parenting style as a method, a set of child rearing practices, the way a parent decides to raise his or her child. And several authorities have looked at parenting styles and categorized them into four. The first one being the authoritarian parenting style. The second one, the authoritative parenting style. And then the third one, the permissive parenting style. And then the last but not the least, the uninvolved parenting style. I want to talk about the authoritarian parenting style. When we talk about the authoritarian, we are looking at the parenting style whereby the parent is very, very low in responsiveness, but high in demandingness. That's to say, When we talk about responsiveness, we are talking about a parent's emotional sensitivity towards the children. How sensitive are you to their needs? How sensitive are you to their feelings? And on and on. Then demandingness is talking about the behavioral control that you have over them. So the authoritarian parenting style, so in such a style, the parent is low in responsiveness, meaning that the person is cold and unaccepting. Such parents are autocratic. And how do you know an autocratic parent? A parent that believes that kids should be seen and not heard. I should hear my child, and in fact the child should just be seen, but not heard. You are not ready to listen to your child, to listen to the feelings and all that. Now, such parents also, when it comes to rules, you believe that it's your own way that must go, not the way of the child, not the way anybody else may subscribe to. So you feel that your own way, your own plan, whether it has to do with career, it has to do with feelings, it has to do anything, only what you say as a parent must go. And that kind of parent will not want to take the child's feelings into consideration. When you have this kind of characteristics, know that that parenting style is authoritarian in nature. And such parents will want to use punishments, in dealing with the child, not discipline. When you talk about discipline, you are looking at, trying to correct the child in a loving way, taking his feelings into consideration. But when you are punishing, you say, okay, I want to punish the child irrespective of what the child may be feeling, irrespective of who is around. And when you are doing that kind of punishment, you will see that that child will feel so bad, because sometimes you are not even explaining to the child that child. So in a situation, you have a very serious situation to handle. And it has been proved by psychologists that children who are raised in authoritarian parenting style situation, they have higher risk of self-esteem problems. They develop high, very, very poor self-esteem. And such situations are found in several societies around us. Now let's go into the second one, the authoritative parenting style. Now such parents, when you are talking about the authoritative, such parents have such questions like, you put a lot of effort into creating and maintaining a positive relationship with your child. You look at your child and you feel that this child is a human being. You have respect for the sanctity of the human person. This child, irrespective of his age, is somebody I should listen to, somebody I should care for, somebody I should be able to understand. And then you show love towards the child. You are able to explain the reasons behind every rule that you set. And then you set limits and enforce such rules and give consequences. But you take your child's feelings into consideration. These things are not there in the authoritarian parenting style. Now, children that are raised in such, under such parenting style, they come out to become responsible adults. They feel comfortable. They are able to self-advocate. And they are able to express their opinions wherever they are. They feel loved, and then they are able to also exhibit same to the society where they belong to. You can look at it from maybe angles like this. Number one, you set rules, but you rarely enforce them. This child, don't go out when it is 7 o'clock. Now, even if the child goes out, maybe one of the 2 days within the week, goes out, when he comes back, you might not even bother to enforce any kind of, sanctions on the child. You set the rule, but you are not there to enforce that rule. Now, a permissive parent may also not give out consequences. You don't give out consequences very often. When children do things that you feel have violated the norm, violated rules and regulations you gave, you don't dish out consequences. And so the child already feels that, well, there are rules, but these rules are never enforced. Now, the third one, you think that your child will learn best with little interference from you. And that is why this kind of parenting style, some authorities call it, the laissez-faire style or the passive style. Such parents are indulgent. They might fix those rules, but they are not there to enforce. Now, such kids grow up, being more likely to struggle academically because the rules are not there. They are there to do some things you thought will never be done by them. They are ready to join friends, do all kinds of things, and then all that is there is you look at them and then you remove your eye because you feel that, well, they are there, they are grown, they should be able to handle themselves. Now, the last but not the least, the uninvolved parenting style. The uninvolved is the very type that authorities consider the very worst type of parenting style. Now, what do I mean by that? In an uninvolved parenting style, the parent doesn't ask the child about schoolwork, homework, anything. You have little or no time for your child. And so the child grows up thinking that this my mother or father does not have time for me. And so such a child will roam out with friends, go around, do all kinds of things, and he comes back, he is never checked. Nobody will ask about schoolwork or homework or have you done domestic chores? No such thing. Such parents will rarely know where the child is at any given time or who the child is going out with. When such happens, you are uninvolved parenting. You are an uninvolved parent. Now, the third one, you don't spend much time with your child. You spend little or no time, with your child. And so, such children, they grow up likely to struggle with self-esteem issues. They have poor performance in schools, and then they have very serious behavioral problems. When it comes to delinquency or delinquent behaviors, including drug use and drug, has the greatest risk for drug use or substance use and abuse. Followed by the authoritarian parenting style. In the authoritarian style, because you are always there, you give rules, you give sanctions, you are there to impose yourself, impose your will, impose your decisions on the child. Sometimes you might even use words that are not very good with such children. So at the end of the day, the child feels, oh, this my father or my mother does not love me. All he knows or all she knows is just to punish me, and that's all. So when you have such situations, you see that such children, when they go out, they are ready to follow friends because they feel that the home is never the best place for them to come to. But the authoritative, which is also called the democratic style, that's the one that is warm, that one is accepting, and you find children in such environment being, people that display good behavior, they are morally sound, all things being equal. Now, if you look at the issue of the risk involved, consequences can be put into different ways. There are emotional issues, there are mental health issues, there are academic issues, there are physical issues. Now let's take the very first one. The children who are coming from the authoritarian parenting style. Such children are anxious, they are withdrawn, they are unhappy. Now, why are they unhappy? Because they feel that whatever punishment that is given to them is without love. Now, research has shown that such children, they display more mental health issues, including depression, suicide, maybe suicidal attempts, alcoholism and drug use. They are unhappy. They display low self-esteem. They do worse academically, and they harbor unresolved anger. They are low when it comes to showing love towards other people. That has to do with children that are raised in authoritarian parenting style environments. Now, the children that are raised in authoritative or democratic parenting style environment, they have more positive psychological outcomes and better mental health issues. They feel loved and cherished. They have fewer behavioral and delinquency problems, all things being equal. They have they have a high sense of attachment security, and they show that they can be independent. They can do things on their own, and then they flow that way. They have good self-concept and confidence. And generally speaking, they have overall happiness and higher self-esteem, enhanced self-reliance, well-developed social skills, and better physical health and success, among other things. Now, when it comes to children from permissive parenting style environments, such children display, sense of entitlement. I'm entitled to this because the parents don't check them up, and when they even try to put their eye there, they don't sanction them the way that is expected. And so they display health problems like obesity, because sometimes even when it comes to feeding, they could decide to eat anything, eat anyhow, eat with whoever, without any checks on them. Now, such parents, parents in this kind of environment, they don't limit intake. They don't determine, don't take this, eat this much, don't eat this much, because they are not there to really check them up. Now, they are prone to disregarding rules and showing antisocial behavioral problems. That's children from permissive home environments. And then because of all these things, because of the fact that they could even go out with friends without any kind of checks on them, some of them end up into drugs. When their friends lure them into drugs, even when they come back, parents will not check whether you have anything on you, you have any strange thing in your room, and on and on. They will not even bother. Now, but it is worse with children that are coming from uninvolved, parenting style environments. Such children are depressed. They are always sad, and the sadness goes beyond just the normal sadness into what is called clinical depression. Now they have a high tendency towards substance abuse and childhood trauma. They feel that they don't matter as far as their parents are concerned. They look at their parents, they are busy with home, busy with their job, their career, busy with every other thing outside, maybe politics and so many other things around. But they have little or no time for the children. And so they already have that feeling that my mother, I don't matter to her. I don't matter to my father, because we don't have time for them. Now, such children also have poor self-control, and then they have low self-esteem. They have trouble with peer pressure, peer relationships, and then they display a high level of immaturity. They have mental health and emotional, regulation challenges, and so on and so forth. They have high risk of behavioral problems and delinquency. So if you put all that together, you will see that when it comes to the issue of substance abuse, because of the nature of the parenting style, you find it highest with children. In fact, one study indicated that, when it comes to parenting style and substance abuse, that neglectful parents, that is the parents that we labeled as those who are uninvolved, that they have the poorest outcomes. Children from such parents have the poorest outcomes in emotional well-being, self-competence, social competence, and empathy. While children from authoritarian, they have worse outcomes in academics, family relationships, nervousness, emotional instability, and hostility. So these two appear to be the worst parenting style when it comes to delinquency, substance abuse, and several other things that are negative as far as the society is concerned. So when we look at that, we now see that parenting style has so much to do with, the kind of emotional, physical, mental health issues when parents don't have time to really look at their children. Now, what do we do by way of remedies? Can I continue?
Please go ahead, Prof. We are enjoying you. When we are quiet like this, meaning we are enjoying you.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Now, when it comes to the issue of the remedy, first and foremost, we can say that no parent is perfect. Let that be established. Because while we are discussing, maybe some parents will feel that, maybe they are authoritarian or they are permissive or uninvolved. But let's establish the fact that no parent is perfect. Now, while we agree with that, we also need to say that if we have seen and research has also shown that neglectful parents and authoritarian parents, those parenting styles are the worst when it comes to issues relating to behavior issues, when it comes to even academic matters and so on. If it is so, then any parent that is displaying the permissive, the neglectful, and the authoritarian will need to reconsider those parenting styles and change to the democratic or the authoritative parenting style. Now, why do I need to say that? Well, any behavior that can be learned can also be unlearned. So if a mother or father covers that, because I don't have time for my child, this child is grown to become wayward, so to say. This child is grown to become a social misfit. There is a need to understand that no matter your achievements in life, if your child is not doing well, then it means that you yourself, you have not done well as a parent. If your child ends up in drugs, and of course you know the consequences of drugs, a child that is into drugs, one of the things that will happen, the mental health will be affected, the academics will be affected, even the finance of the family will be affected, because to sustain a drug behavior, a child or some young people will go to the extent of going to steal money, either from parents or from anywhere, just to make sure they sustain that drug behavior. And if that is so, it means your funds will also go. Now, apart from the fact that they steal, and they can steal your own money as a parent, they can steal from others and may end up in prison. They might steal from others, and of course, any of the consequences of stealing will come up. The sanctions meant for stealing will come into force. But be that as it may, also understand that the mental health challenge a child has can even go into affecting your own finance, affecting your own mental health, affecting your own physical health. Some parents, because they are thinking about the child that is already into drugs, they are just thinking about the child, can give you hypertension. And so you see yourself coming down in health, physical health, mental health. The aspect of mental health, for instance, if you begin to think about the child, you may begin to have anxiety problems. While you are there thinking about the child, feeling sad, depression may set in. While you are thinking about the child and then feeling sad every now and then. From depression, it could also come into maybe worse things like suicide and so on and so forth. So you can see these kind of implications coming up. So it is important, therefore, for any father or mother to think of changing your parenting style to make sure you have time for your child. No matter the business, no matter the career, no matter the political landscape you are involved in, try to make out time for your child. And then, two, if you discover that the child is already into these things, time to find out who are the friends, something of those friends. Who are they? Are they into drugs? My child is going out with. Now, what do I do? Stop that child out with at least have control over them. Now, put some sanctions and then enforce those, put those rules, enforce the rules by way of giving sanctions. And then when the child, you have noticed, is already having some things, you may need to seek help. You may need the help of a counselor. Maybe if the child is in school, you may need to consult with a school counselor or a school psychologist, or you need to seek maybe help from other mental health professionals like a psychiatrist, a clinical psychologist, and so on. You may need help, and the help go to the extent of talking about rehabilitation. If you have discovered that the child has gone far into these drugs, into drug use and abuse, the child may need rehabilitation. And when that is done, you will see that it will take some time for the child to really recover. So, if that is so, and of course, I also want to mention that introducing the child to some moral lessons, to maybe religious lessons, and in fact, if you need to even seek help from some religious organizations. I know of some religious organizations who, apart from providing spiritual help, they have also established rehabilitation homes, whereby some of these children have been accommodated and of course taken care of. Their mental health issues, have been attended to by mental health professionals. So these things, when put into practice, will come a long way in helping the child to come out from the issue of drug use and drug abuse. But if the parenting style is not changed from either the uninvolved, the permissive, the authoritarian, to authoritative or democratic parenting style, of course, even if you do all these things, and then the child gets back gets back home, and the same style is still being exhibited, you may see that the child will still come back to school. So far, maybe let me end there before maybe I get the reactions and we continue from there. Thank you so much.
Very well, thank you. That was an excellent presentation there by Professor Kinani. We had, I'm sure, I wouldn't know whether Prof was online when we read his profile. Please, let's ensure that we are muted so that I don't remove you. I think, Francis, you may have to mute your handle so that I won't have to, because I know Prof is speaking through your handle. Okay, that's done. Thank you very much there. Now we have some quietness. Okay, let me quickly thank you very much once again, Prof. Indeed, we don't expect anything less from a professor of counseling psychology. Thank you very much for that. Excellent. In fact, it's a long time I saw her. I indeed be looking forward to having her back. I know she's out of the country, but I'm glad she's part of this conversation today. That's not that person than a very senior member of this platform, Dr. Hasiya Adamubiu. Dr. Hasiya Adamubiu has been out of the country holidaying, and we'll pray to have her back very quickly. And I'm sure she's most likely to have some input or contributions to this conversation today. Okay, now I also have our own Agboma. I guess Agboma is who I think she is. She's already the speaker's corner, so maybe when I listen to her, I will confirm exactly. I guess she's one of the officers of the agency. Thank you very much, Agboma. Blank Mind, thank you for being part of the conversation. Millicent Man, Obiano Ruth Okeke, Dolai Dowu, Nuruddin Mukhtar, Jide Ayawale, Pascal Iwegu, Suleiman. I will have quite a lot of you in there, but then let's start the conversation quickly. Prof is ready to take our questions and clarify some of the issues we're raising. Let's start from, I look forward to having him last week, but I guess he's busy, but now he's back. Dr. Abdullah is a consultant psychiatrist at the Ahmadu Bello University Teaching Hospital. Is also a lecturer at the ABU, and equally the director of the founder of Excel Mental Health Foundation. That the platform, the organization he uses to provide help and support to those struggling with substance abuse. And we're glad to have you again today, Dr. Abdullah. Thank you, and I'm sure you want to take the first shot. Please go ahead, Doc.
Good afternoon, Mr. Femi, Baba Femi. Good afternoon to our listeners. Good afternoon, Prof. Thank you very much, Prof, for this very insightful presentation. In fact, I didn't want Prof to stop. Like I have always said, one of our biggest problems with the youth and drug abuse today is as a result of the utter breakdown in our family system as a people. You know, most parents today are just concerned about how their children can get excellent grades, can rise to the top, but in terms of character building, in terms of being present in their life to guide them, a lot of parents are lacking in this direction. Parenting goes beyond providing financial needs of children. It has a lot to do with building the moral capacity, the moral rectitude, and showing direction to the coming generation. Honestly, I believe if we get our parenting right, a lot of these problems, I think we will be able to solve them. It is key. This parenting issue is key in our fight against this menace of drug abuse among the youth. And until we get it right, honestly, we have a long way to go. Once again, thank you very much, Prof. And I wish a lot of parents will have the opportunity to listen to this, even though a lot are not on this platform. Let's do well to share this presentation so that a lot of parents can get to listen and learn from what Prof have taught us today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, our own Dr. Abdullah. Dr. Abdullah, it's always on point. Thank you. I'm not sure Prof will want to speak to that yet. Let's take another contribution. Okay, this time let's come in house. Let's have our own commander Bashir Ibrahim. Please unmute yourself. Let's get your. Then after you, we come to Agboma. Please go ahead.
All right. Good evening, Prof. That was a great job you did there. Personally, I think I've learned one or two things too. Just as Professor Abdullah said, we wish more parents are here to actually learn. Thank God this thing is being recorded, and I'm sure anybody can go back and look at it. Prof has actually did a good job and has actually linked parental style to issue of substance use. I want to take our mind away a bit. That is what we call purposeful and positive parenting, which is lacking. If you take your mind back, when you go for counseling, the prophetic couples, they only teach you how to cohabit, how you not bring third party into your wedding, into your family. Nobody teach you how to rear children. both faith, both Muslim and both Islamic and the Christian faith, they only teach you, you don't need to do this, you don't need to do that. But nobody knows that one of the purpose of marriage is to procreate. And definitely, if God bless you, children will come. So I feel it is high time we start inculcating purposeful and positive parenting in our teachings, especially by the religious leaders, whatever, by any type of group, to let the young ones know, so that if we are getting it right from that stage of parenting, I think the issue of substance use among the young ones will be addressed to a greater extent. The way we are going, most parents are just financial providers. Prof has just said it. They are not actually involved in actually the children upbringing. They don't care where they are at a particular time and what to do, the kind of friends, the kind of party they attend. All they talk about is their family name. You don't bring it down. Who told you that the kids these days cares about your family names? So if you don't put yourself in their shoes, if you don't actually let them know that, look, reason why you have to make a healthy life choice, that's what all we are talking about. We will not get anywhere. So I feel it is high time we start inculcating, or we inculcate purposeful and positive parenting in what we are doing, so that at least we can start getting it right. Once again, thank you very much, and compliment of the city to everyone. I think this is the first time I'm being here this year, and wish all of us a prosperous and drug-free year. Thank you very much, DMA.
Thank you very much, there, our own Commander Bashir Ibrahim. Indeed, it's going to be a drug-free year by the grace of Almighty. He said it, he repeated a quote there, which was actually also stated by Professor Kinani earlier, and that is, most parents are just financial providers. Most parents these days are just financial providers. Okay, let's quickly see if Prof would like to. Okay, Okay, Prof is now in on another handle. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Prof, let's see. Would you want to speak to the contributions from the two contributions, Dr. Abdullah and our own Commander Bashir Ibrahim? Would you want to say something to their contribution before we go ahead?
Okay, I didn't even hear anything because of network issues. I didn't hear their contributions.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's fine. Okay, let's get on to. They were actually contributing anyway, but then fine. Let's we have a number of others who would stay. Okay, is Agboma ready for us now? Agboma, if you are ready, please unmute yourself and let's get your question or contribution. Is Agboma ready? Okay, if Agboma is not ready, I've celebrated. Okay, I'll go to the next part where I have actually looked forward to having her contribution, because it's she's somebody well respected in this area, and that is Dr. Hasia Adamubiu. She's joining us live from thousands of miles away across the ocean. Dr. Hasia Adamubiu, please go ahead. Let's get your contribution.
Good morning, Dr. Olafemi. Good morning, everyone on the platform.
We know you are early in the morning where you are, but here we're in the evening already.
Oh, sorry.
I know.
It's good. It's good to be on the platform.
We really missed you. I can tell you that. That's it for a fact.
Yeah, I missed everyone as well. I think we've talked about this issue severally: parenting styles and substance abuse among youths. I'll keep reiterating the fact that there's a lot of hypocrisy in parenting these days. You know, I heard a bit of what the prof said concerning parenting styles, but most parents don't see through their parenting styles. It's a mixture of things. The values they show the children, and I'm talking of examples here now. The examples they give to the children don't match the expectations, they have from their children. Yes, we correct, we sanction, we do all manner of things. But the question is, do you connect before you correct? And that is the real principle for exemplary values to be inculcated in any child. You connect to correct. Just yesterday, I had a case because I'm a practical person. It's my field. I talk to youths every day. I talk to parents every day. Parents are in trouble. We don't know what's going to happen with the Gen Z parents. I'm even talking now of parents who are in their 40s, in their 30s, in their 20s, are already in trouble. So we don't know what is going to happen to the AI generation. We don't mention her from the beginning. In fact, before you become a parent, you should start learning about parenting. You should prepare for parenting. The children of today are outsmarting parents. Parents are not growing with their children. They are not updating themselves. Today's parents are Instagram parents. They are parents that want to show what they are not and who they are not. They are not realistic. So when we begin to talk about even the styles, I think we should even be a little more, we should leave the theory out of it and be a little more practical. They are not even following any style. So people who want to be parents, I would like to have it on record that I said should prepare for parenting before they start having these children. They should learn more about what they want their children to be and look like, because this drug thing is a menace. Parents are addicts themselves. What do you want them to teach the children? And I'm talking from parents as way back as my generation. I'm saying it, there's a lot of hypocrisy in parenting. Now, when it comes to rehabs and other things the prof mentioned, seeking help, a lot of parents are still too ashamed. They are still too ashamed of stigma for themselves, not even stigma for the children now, for themselves, to bring out these children for us to help them. They are still hiding them and coding things and just asking people, my friend has a case, what do you think we should do? Especially, with online sessions. They come and tell us what they are experiencing in other ways. But if you are a good psychologist, they are talking about themselves, not about somebody else. Or they come to you for help, they are telling you they want to bring their cousin, and this is the case. Now, we want us to also remember, I'm stopping now, but we want us to remember that there's a ripple effect. Once these children are not given the right values, it will spiral into all these drug issues we're talking about, because the influence out there is so strong. It is so strong. It's at work, it's at school, it's even in the church and in the mosque. And then it will move into their own marriages, their own homes. And then you begin to see cases of abuse, cases of domestic violence, all manner of things. So let's be more intentional. Anybody who wants to bring a child into this world should go sit down, think about whether they really want it or not. Thank you. I'll stop here so other people can talk. Thank you.
Very well, Dr. Asiya Adamubio. As usual, she's giving a good account of herself again. We appreciate you for your contributions always. Thank you very much. I picked that from her. Connect to correct. If you don't connect with the kids, you may not be able to correct them. That's very key. Thank you very much once again, our own Dr. Asiya Adamubio. We're looking forward to having you back in Nigeria. Thank you for creating the time early this morning where you are to join us, to join this conversation. Okay, will Prof like to say something to what Dr. Asiya Adamubi has just said before we move to the next person?
Yes, I enjoyed our contribution. It reminded me of one young person I talked with several years ago. The young person, was into marijuana. And when he was talking with me, he said the father once told him, in fact, they were like preaching it in the house. Don't eat, don't drink, don't smoke, don't do this, don't do that. And then this boy had some friends he went out with, and they introduced him into marijuana. And so there was one joint in that environment where they used to go to smoke. And then he got there one of the days because the place was dark. As he entered into the place, he was already seated. Then the father didn't know that the son was there. He walked into the place and also demanded for, the marijuana. So they served him. Since the boy was there, when you are seated in a dark place, you will be able to see the person coming in, even if the person will not know that you are there. So shortly after that, the boy was able to move out of that environment without even the father knowing that he was there. So it was later the boy was saying, how could my father be telling me don't smoke marijuana when he was himself, very known in that environment? So I think there's so much hypocrisy actually. I agree with her, and I agree with even the point where she talked about connecting before you correct. And then the aspect of we need to learn about parenting. Very, very important. Just like people who are going through marriage classes, they go through marriage classes. I wish that all those who organize marriage classes, they also try as much as possible to include that aspect of parenting, so as to prepare the parents to be for the life that they are going to encounter later in their lives. Thank you very much for that contribution.
Thank you very much, dear Prof. That's our guest psychology. We've listened to an NDLA commander. We have listened to a psychotherapist, a psychologist. We have listened to a consultant psychiatrist, talking of Dr. Abdullah. We have listened to a whole range of people. Now I want us to listen to a pharmacist, and that's pharmacist Esom Ibe Agboma Emanuela. She is a fellow of Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria and the managing director of AB Pharmacy Limited, Port Harcourt. She was here on this space, I think 10th November 2023. She was our guest on this space, and indeed, she did excellently well. Now I recognize her. She's been a part of us on this platform since then. Now let's listen to you, Madam Emanuela. Please unmute yourself. Let's listen to you. Can she hear me? Madam Emanuela, Madam Agboma. Okay, if she's not, I guess she's struggling with her network. Let's get to Millicent Man. Millicent Man.
Yes, please.
Hear me? Okay, please go ahead.
Thank you. Lovely discussion. Thank you very much for organizing this. I agree with the earlier speaker who said parents should be more intentional. But the truth is, parenting now is more difficult, if you ask me. Today, the economic conditions are harsher than before. Maybe I'm young, the older ones, can try to confirm this. And the state isn't helping. Where are the social workers? If something is wrong in a home, social workers, the state should come in. But where are they? How much are they? Are they strong enough to help, to weigh in, to assist and save the situation, salvage the situation? Yes, most children spend so much time with third parties, but But that's one of the challenges of these times and the economic conditions. Back in the day, you could rely on the community to train a child, but slightly things have changed. There's of course the peer influence. There's individual temperaments. There are other societal factors, but I think we need consistent education for upcoming parents, existing parents, consistent education, using stakeholders, the religious bodies, ambassadors of, no substance use, no substance abuse, even youth ambassadors in schools. This can be ideas that could be initiated, and no discrimination, no shaming for those who are in it and need help, because they exist and they exist everywhere. Schools, um, churches, different places, they do exist. So I hope that the NDLEA will continue to do its good work in solving this menace among young people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, dear. Madam Millicent, for that contribution. You can rest assured we're in this together until we're able to salvage the situation and secure and protect and shield our future, that is the leaders of tomorrow, from this menace of substance abuse. Once again, we'd like to appreciate you for your contributions there. Let's quickly go to, our time is running fast. Let's quickly go to our DM now. When Madam Alboma Emanuela is ready, I guess would definitely get her contribution, but there are quite a lot in our DM, so we'd like Prof to react to some of these questions. Okay, Prof, there is one here. Please, I'll read it out. The millennials are undergoing the damages caused by the harsh corporal parenting of the boomers with the use of gentle parenting. But do you think gentle parenting is sustainable for raising disciplined children, especially with the recent liberalities we are experiencing towards drug use in the youth population and the Gen Zs? Prof, do you get that, or you need me to go through it again?
Okay, I got you.
Okay, please go ahead.
Well, I think while we will not subscribe to the very harsh, the punitive way of parenting, I think that none of the two extremes will be fine enough. If you go too harsh, you produce children that will have proneness towards substance abuse and other delinquent behavioral patterns. If you are too gentle, if you are too permissive, you might also be producing children that will have issues, behavioral issues. But I think that if we're able to, depending on the situation, we are more democratic, we are more accommodating in terms of showing love towards our children, setting rules and enforcing those rules, but not going to the extent of saying, well, because we love our children, therefore when they do wrong, we don't correct them. Some religious books have shown where such things happened, like in the Bible, they talk about the children of Eli. He was too permissive he was going to that other extreme, and at the end of the day, he produced children that, were not there for him anymore. So I like a combination of the styles, particularly the democratic should have the upper hand, because research have also shown that the democratic, that's the authoritative, has more, greater, more subscribable advantages than any other style. So that is what I think I should recommend. Thank you.
All right, thank you there, Prof. Now, before we move, there is a second part of that question, but before we get there in our DM, I would want us to gloss over Madam Millicent raised something in her contribution and talked about how difficult it is to actually parent, that is to actually bring up kids these days, because she's referring to the harsh economic conditions.
Yes.
Yeah, Prof, would you want to say something about that? I mean, that's because that may just be the excuse of most of the parents that are not really intentional doing what they need to do. And I also like to get Dr. Asia's view on that too. Please go ahead, Prof.
Okay, what I think that I know the economy is very harsh now globally, and particularly here in our own economy. Be that as it may, while we go out to fend for ourselves and our children, let us have time for them. There is what is called quality parenting. You may not have all the time with them, but the little time you are there with them, let it be qualitative. A qualitative time. You come back very late, yes, and then you are able to have time to know how the children fared in their schoolwork, fared in their social life, fared in every other thing. You are concerned about their health and so on. Even if it's 1 hour, 2 hours before they go to bed, at least the children will also know that you had time for them. But in this very uninvolved type of parenting, you even if you give the excuse that, well, I was uninvolved because I was trying to fend for the family, it will still be understood by the children that this very parent, mother or father, does not have time for me. So quality time is what I'm talking about, not spending the whole time. Thank you.
All right, thank you there, Prof. Dr. Asia, would you want to say something to that?
Okay, Dr. Babafemi, let me just say something. Madam Millicent, I may need to address you directly. At every stage of life, with every generation, nothing is easy. Even in the days we're talking about, it didn't seem so easy for the parents. There were other areas that stretched them. I know there's a lot of complication, a lot of innovations, a lot of everything. But for whatever you want to do in life, it's about choices. You make your choices and bear the consequences. If you look for all the money and look for every other thing, that money will be spent in rehab. And we all know how much it is to send a youth to rehab these days. If you have to pay as much as 600, 700 to 1 million to 1.2 per month to rehabilitate a child, let's not even talk financial. What about the mental torture it gives a parent to see a child draining, a child you loved, nurtured, watched to grow, paid some fees in school, and then you have to watch this child all the time in some form of a tremor? No. I think we should prioritize our needs. And I want to state here that where are the fathers? Fathers have suddenly become missing. In a lot of homes, fathers are missing. And we are trying to get fathers back home. We know they are going out to look for the means, but women are also looking for means these days. So this is what I talk about parenting. Parenting is for two people, not for one. And they must sit together and agree on the mode of operation. So let's not address just the financial part. It's a whole lot. Otherwise, your mental health will be messed up at the end of the day, and you won't enjoy anything you have worked for. May God not take us there. Let me stop before my
we say
before
amen
my
to that prayer.
grandson starts shouting.
Amen.
Thank you very much, Dr. Asiya. Okay, let's get. I think we invited Madam Aboma Emanuela. That's a fellow of the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, who is also based in Port Harcourt. She was our guest on this platform, 10th November 2023. I think her network should be better now. Madam Aboma, if you can hear us, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you so very much. Can you hear me?
You are loud and clear.
Oh, good evening, Dr. Farafemi. Good evening, everybody on the call. Thank you, Professor Kinani, for doing justice to it as always.
Thank you so much.
So, I'll keep it brief. A lot has been said. I'm sorry about the network. Well, I didn't have control over that. I attempted severally to speak. I'll keep it as simple as possible. The family, as we know it, is the primary church, the primary mosque, the primary shrine, anyhow you want to put it. But that's where all the values are inculcated. But I think one of the biggest problems we have now is that the family has become a fashion statement. The old school way has never failed. I remember growing up, that's why I'll never forget Frank Olize. His opening statement, NTA Network News then, it's 9 o'clock, do you know where your children are? Before he says anything, he said, it's 9 o'clock, do you know where your children are? So for every parent, we should all answer that question. It's 9 o'clock, do you know where your children are? Because it comes from knowing where your children are. Now, parents in Nigeria want to be more American than Joe Biden, than Donald Trump, and more British than King Charles himself. It's a fashion kind of statement, the way you bring up your children. Every family is unique. Every family should have family values and traditions that should be upheld. And who upholds it, if not the parents? You have the Bible, the Quran, the holy book your children read. The generation of kids we're bringing up now, they do not listen to what you say. They do what you do because you're their first role model. Parents need to recognize when to transit from being a parent to being a friend to your children, and when to draw the line from being a friend to being a parent. There must be that balance between, oh, I'm a parent now, I'm a child, I'm a friend. Because at some stage in their lives, you are the one that they should talk to first before their friends. And if at that stage your children talk to some other person before speaking to you, then there's a problem. There must be free flow of information. You know when to show leadership. One of the biggest problems we're having with drug and substance abuse, because in Port Harcourt here, like I'm the chairman of the Drug and Substance Abuse Reduction Committee for the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, is people living in denial. We can't draw a line between religion and reality. The signs of substance abuse or drug abuse is very obvious. A child who used to dress so well, who should do so well, begin to dress carelessly, begin to act strange. The first thing the parents will say is a spiritual attack. My enemy is at work. And then it keeps deteriorating. It keeps degenerating. And the situation where parents fling their children to very far schools or continents they have not even traveled to themselves, send their children to schools they see online because their neighbors, their friends, their colleagues in the office are sending their kids to those places. They don't even know what the school is like. They don't know what happens there. My first visit to Ghana was an eye-opener. I saw Nigerian students. Their parents don't even know the way to Ghana, but they are sending their kids to Ghana. And some of those schools were not even schools that were accredited. And these kids were into all sorts, anything you can imagine. And the parents were clueless. Who are we trying to impress? Is the $1 million question when it comes to bringing up these children. If really the children are the future of tomorrow, the youths are the hope of tomorrow, who are you trying to impress? Other than doing right by your child. So I think we should go back to, the basics. Family values, family morals, family standards. If you have a curfew time for your children, you keep it. It's not because other people are having, oh, they can run loose until 1 o'clock. And this thing that Nigerian parents learned that is sleepover, I don't understand it. A child packs up and is sent to another person's home to go and do sleepover. I don't understand it. I still cannot comprehend it. Because I was privileged to counsel a young girl, an adolescent, and everything she picked up was from sleepover in another family. That was just, she picked all that up, including the abuse, including making out with a fellow girl. She picked it up from that sleepover. So I keep imagining whether we're tired being parents, and what you hear commonly in Nigeria is, oh, let school resume, I'm tired, though. These children should go back to school. The school is not meant to teach your children morals. It's not meant to teach them the basics. Like I said when I started, the home, the family is the primary church, is the primary mosque, or the primary shrine, if you are atheist or traditionalist. That's where the values are inculcated in these children, or that's where you imbibe all the values. All of us on this call will agree that the way we were brought up influenced who we are now. So let me keep it short. Thank you so very much. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you once again, Professor Kinani. I know what you're capable of. Well done there, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much there, Madam Emanuela. She's always giving a good account of herself, giving us some great insights again, especially the sleepover thing. Well, may God help our parents, may God help our kids, our children. All right, Prof, let's quickly go to some other questions. I told you that it's the second part of the first question before in our DM. Now, this person is writing, we often tell people to say yes to life and no to drugs. But what is a concrete replacement mechanism that will replace the craving, curiosity, and desire for drugs? What can children do instead to satisfy that need to be approved by their peers as being cool? Yeah, Prof, you got that? Prof, did you get the question?
Okay, I got part of it.
Okay, do you want me to go through it again?
Just go through it again.
Okay, now the person is writing, we often tell people to say yes to life and no to drugs. But really, what is a concrete replacement mechanism that children can use to replace the craving, curiosity, and desire for drugs? What can children do instead to satisfy that need to be approved by their peers as being cool?
Okay. A quick one, just like other speakers have said, education will be fine. I think if we get them properly educated about issues of life, including issues relating to drugs. If they get involved in learning about drug use, the consequences, and what to do to stay away from it, it will be one major activity that can help them handle this issue of cravings for drugs. Secondly, we live in times, just like we're talking about the harsh economic realities around us. Now, if they have time for skills acquisition, trying to gain skills, life skills that they need to cope with life, that will also be another way of helping them. I know that in schools, one of the things being taught is the issue of exercise.
Hello?
When they're able, sorry? So one of the things being talked about is exercise, having time for, physical activity. Once they are involved in physical activity, they are involved in skills acquisition, they are trying to gain some knowledge about what is relevant for life and other related things. I think it will go a long way. And I think in these days too, where we talk about religious training, if they have time for one thing or the other, occupying their attention meaningfully, then I think the crave for drugs will definitely will have been replaced. Thank you.
Thank you very much again, Prof. Let me read another one to you. Please, let's note that when our guest is speaking, or we don't, let me just put it this way, we don't allow unauthorized interruption. Please, let's remain muted. That's why I keep removing those who are interrupting by unmuting themselves unnecessarily, interrupting the guest in his presentation or his response to questions and contributions. Please, we have set these rules, and I think we should abide by it. Okay, Prof, guys, Comfort is asking here, with different types of family dynamics and how they can affect a person's well-being, would it be totally wrong to assume that most of our youths that subscribe to the use of illicit substances are products of poor, effective communication and family disintegration? Comfort is asking that question, Prof.
Yeah, sure. Poor communication is one major issue we have in homes. Parent-child communication, even communication between spouses. Communication between spouses. You know, there are some children who have been exposed to some of these substance use behaviors because the home is not good enough. A child that sees the parents quarreling, sometimes fighting, and he feels that love is not there, no good example, finds himself in the midst of wrong friends, and they get lured. So I think poor communication is one major issue here. And therefore, as one way to cope with this situation, we need to improve parent-child communication in homes, and then communication generally within the family setting. Thank you. It's a good contribution.
All right, then. Thank you, Prof. I still want to go to our DM again. There is Tina. Tina is asking, in this age of our young minds, drawing the line for parents or anybody, how do I know if my son is involved in drug abuse without invading his privacy or looking intrusive? That's another question, Prof.
Okay. One of the speakers mentioned that it's not difficult to know a child that's into drugs. The first things around the child, from the dressing, how did he dress yesterday? By yesterday, I'm talking about sometime in the past, and then how is he dressing now? The dressing pattern, dressing style will definitely betray the drug behavior being displayed by the child. Now, apart from that too, well, we talk about when the question talked about privacy. Well, I think that the issue of privacy, as far as the Nigerian setting is concerned, is not so much the way it's taken in the Western world. Here, parents still, even without going through your child's phone, some parents go through their children's phone, kind of things they read about, the kind of examples they are following and all that. But I think that privacy has its own limitations in the Nigerian context, in as much as the Constitution guarantees the right to privacy. But then, I think parents still have some things to do. If you get into your child's room and you look around, there are things related to drugs you can easily observe, and you know that your child is beginning to go into drugs. There is a way of just looking into his eyes or sensing some things, around him will tell you that this child is into drugs or not, or is beginning to follow friends that are into drugs. So a number of things. If the child comes back, maybe a young person in the secondary school or in the university comes home, and then as you are just relating with him on a friendly level, There are ways you can maybe ask him a few questions, you know, consistency or inconsistency in answering you or trying to give answers to questions you have asked can let you know some things that he's into. So I think it's not difficult to really know a child that is either into drugs or beginning to join friends who are into drugs.
All right, thank you there, Prof. Let's give the opportunity to another person on the platform. I think that's Alexandra. Alexandra, can you unmute yourself and let's listen to you, please? Alexandra Stark-Smith, are you there? If you are not ready, we are struggling, we'll move on to... Okay, let me go on to another question here. Is okay? Okay, I think well, I'm sure Prof can answer this. This person is Shade is asking, is there 100% assurance of? Okay, okay, is there 100% assurance of full recovery from these illicit drugs after rehabilitation? Okay, Prof, I'm sure you can respond to this.
Okay. Well, in some cases, there have been times when such children recovered fully, but it depends on the nature of rehabilitation given, the nature of facilities, the nature of personnel, the kind of personnel available. So full recovery or not will depend on facilities and personnel that are available. And then even when the child has recovered, are we sure that the environment is getting back into will not reinforce that drug behavior? So these are all options to look at. But it's possible for a child to be fully recovered. It's also possible that the child may not be fully recovered depending on these variables I've talked about.
Okay, I mean, Dr. Abdullah, before you even raise your hand, I already have you in mind because I know that is your core area. So definitely let's have Dr. Abdullah's thoughts on that. Please go ahead.
All right, thank you, Prof. Once again. Before I speak to this this current question, I would like to talk about the previous one where somebody asks, how can you know if your child is beginning to get himself or herself involved in drugs? There are quite a number of things you look out for. As your child, you should be able to detect if there are behavioral changes. A child that used to eat together on the same table, maybe dinner, you see the child now wanting to be alone, spend more time alone in his or her room. You see some of them begin to develop this habit of always having sweet, something like tom-tom in their mouth, trying to hide the odor of maybe smoking or whatever. You see them constantly locking their rooms. They are always jittery to see people around their room for fear of discovery. You see your child financial habits begin to change because these drugs require money to finance them. A child that wasn't stealing before may begin to steal initially from family members, and if care is not taken, the child may even begin to steal from people outside. All these things are pointers to the fact that something is wrong. And as a parent, whenever you think something is wrong, believe your instinct until proven otherwise. If you think something is not fitting with your child, you should try to explore. All right, and that is why this authoritative kind of parenting, not authoritarian, like Prof said, is very important. You should cultivate in your children, the ability and the willingness to discuss things with you. You should not be a parent whom your children are so afraid of. Even when they make mistakes, they are unable to discuss such mistakes with you. If you make your home in such a way that your children are able to talk, to discuss with you, to have conversation with you, no matter how difficult it is, they know No matter the magnitude of this mistake I have made, I can always discuss things with my parents, and I'm sure they will guide me. It's not just about criticizing. It is very important. So when you see these changes, you should explore more. And yes, people can and do recover from drugs, but of course, it requires a lot of effort. It requires a lot of willpower. In fact, drug addiction have the highest rate of relapse among all psychiatric problems. All right. So if you do not address the factors that led to that person going into drugs in the first place, even when you rehabilitate, they are more likely going to go back. They are more likely going to relapse. So it requires a lot. And like I've always said, prevention is better and cheaper than cure. When it comes to drugs, it is really better not to start than to start and begin to look for rehabilitation. But for those, of course, who are already in it, it's just like any other illness. It is treatable. People do make recovery. Help is available. And please take the opportunity, take the initiative, take the step in seeking for help so that you can get the rehabilitation you need. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much there, Dr. Abdullahi. Okay, now we'll have this. I would like Professor Kinani. I'm reading the question from Obi Agelina. I would like Professor Kinani to please break it down again. What parenting a drug-dependent person really looks like. What are the challenges faced by these parents? Hoping that this can serve as a material for some of us to share with those we know, so that they can really, those we know who are parents, so that they can really understand this thing in detail. Okay, Prof, I think his question is directly to you. Her question, I think Obi Ageli should be a woman, is directly to you.
Okay. Parenting a drug-dependent child. That's one of the very serious cases of parenting, because a drug-dependent child has behavioral patterns that are difficult to cope with. Based on all the things we have said and many more, you will see that a drug-dependent child will manifest those behavioral tendencies, stealing, doing all kinds of things. So it's a difficult thing for such a parent. But then it will be worse if the parent himself or herself is into drugs. Because the more you are into drugs, the more you are reinforcing that behavior in the child. So let us hope that the parent himself is not drug dependent. Then it will be better, because first, you'll be there to show a good example to the child. And as you show a good example to the child, you are taking the child to, seek help where help is found, from those who are mental health experts to places where the child can be rehabilitated. And then you are trying to show him love. You are trying to make the child know that it's not as if because he's into drugs, therefore he's no longer a child to be fancied, to be loved, to be shown attention. Because here, just like one of the speakers also said, getting a child or getting anybody out of drugs requires quite some effort, really serious effort. So the parent must be ready to make out time to get to resources. Resources must be made available. And then as you make out time, quality time, like I said before, make out quality time, be able to communicate with the child so as to know whether there's a difference between, by the time you are now beginning to seek help, is there a change in the behavior of the child or not? Are there things around the child that will bring about the relapse we're talking about? So make out time, be able to make resources available. Let the child know that you love him, you have not thrown him overboard, you have not treated him like a prodigal son, that you feel there is no hope for him. And then avoid the use of the wrong language, wrong descriptions on that child. Are you not a drug addict? Are you not stupid? Who brought you into this kind of thing? And so on and so forth. Many young people or many children, once they are described that way, they feel bad because those descriptions are offensive in the first place. Even if they are into drugs, don't say you drug addict or you drug dependent child, and on and on. So avoid the use of wrong labels, because those wrong labels will help to destroy their self-esteem. And once the self-esteem is further destroyed, you see that this child may get to a point where he is no longer ready, to even allow whatever you are doing on him to work. So I feel that we need to really help the child to come out of such situations using some of these things I've said and other things that other contributors have mentioned. Thank you.
Thank you very much there, Professor J.B. Kinani. Okay, Prof, just prepare your thoughts now so that when I come back to you after I take this contribution from Dr. Abdullah, then I'll come back to you to wrap up. That's your final thoughts on today's discussion, even though I still have one question. But let's see if we can take that other question. Okay, Dr. Abdullah, please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Just like Prof said, for parents that have children who have already unfortunately got themselves involved with drugs, they need to be more accepting. There is this concept we call high express emotion, which is usually a very big problem when it comes to rehabilitating people, not just with drug use problem, but mental illness generally. When we say high express emotions, it has, it involves three key things that parents normally do. What are these things? You can have what we call hostility. Some parents and some families can become very hostile towards this person that have this problem, and usually it only worsens the problem. All right, there could be emotional over involvement, where parents become overly involved, believing that just because this person is having problems with drug use, they are no longer able to do anything by themselves. So they want to be involved in everything they do. That can also be a problem. And the third thing is what? Critical comment. Critical comment. You see, anything this individual does is, the kind of comment they pass. Look at your brother. You are the only one that is causing problem in this family. You are the only one bringing bad name to this family, and all these things. That can really be a problem for these individuals who are already into this problem. So the parents need to be more loving, more understanding. Do not forget, like we've always said, the issue of drug use is not just one-way thing. It is not all about moral rectitude. Like we say, there are so many factors that play together, to cause these problems. So being an understanding parent, being a supportive parent, and encouraging the individual that, look, yes, you might have had some missteps, but with effort and with support from the family, you can become whatever you want to become again. You can get out of this problem. That encouragement is really very, very important. It's very important. So parents need not to be overtaken by the emotional pain of seeing their children being in this problem and further compound the problem. You need to show some understanding. You need to show some love and some compassion, and be willing to help these individuals get out of this problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to Dr. Abdullah. Then now let's take the final thoughts and closing remark from our guest today. That's Professor Joseph Barineka Kinani. Thank you, Prof. Let's hear from you.
Thank you very much. Our the organizers of this program and all the speakers and listeners and contributors. I've learned so much from every one of you. My final thoughts will be substance abuse is a problem we have today. And one contributor to it is poor parenting style. So it will be important for us as parents to see what we can do to show understanding, to be supportive, and then to be there to also teach younger parents, prospective parents, how to really parent children. Because it will be important for us that we understand that no matter how much we acquire in life, if our children who are to take after us, if we cannot invest in them good values and leave those values in them and think that is just going to school, come back with a certificate, or maybe buy things for them, send them abroad and they are back. If they are not there to give us a good legacy, I'm sure none of those things you have acquired will make any meaning, just like many people have said during this situation. So let's be deliberate, let's be intentional about parenting, and then see how we can subscribe to authoritative parenting other than all the other ones that have been mentioned. And when we do, with the help of God on our side, I think we will really help the society to come out of this menace called substance use and abuse. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you. We indeed appreciate you, Professor J.B. Kinani. Prof is a professor of counseling psychology at the Department of Educational Psychology, Guidance and Counseling, Ignatius Ajuru, University of Education, Port Harcourt, Rivers State. He holds a Doctor of Philosophy degree in Guidance and Counseling, and among others, certificates in mental health and psychosocial support based on Georgian psychotherapy, 2 certificates in that field, and he holds another certificate in adolescent reproductive health counseling skills. I can go on, and he's someone that had occupied various positions in the academic field as warden of students, head of department 2 times, director of school of basic studies, deputy vice chancellor academic, and acting vice chancellor for over a year, and is currently director of the academic planning unit and chairman of the governing board, Graduate School of Business and Maritime Studies of the Ignatius Ajuru University of Education, Port Harcourt. Prof has published over 80 academic publications. That's awesome. Thank you very much, Prof, for finding time in spite of the initial glitches caused by a network problem. You are still able to have a way to be a part of this. I would also like to thank our constant contributor or a senior member of this platform, talking of Dr. Abdullah. Dr. Abdullah is of the Ahmadu Bello University Teaching Hospital, Zaria. Thank you very much, Dr. Abdullah. We also like to thank and appreciate our own Dr. Hasiya Adamubiu. Dr. Hasiya Adamubiu joined us from the Americas. Thank you very much. There would also appreciate Dr. Adam Dawood, John Ogunjimi, Patriotic Kem, Prince Eshimukai, Wari Pikin, Madam Emanuela Agboma, Black Mind, Madam Millicent, Obiano Ruth Okeke, Dolaido, Nuruddin Mukhtar, Jide Ayawale, Pascal Webb. I cannot indeed recognize everybody, but just these few people I noted down. We appreciate everyone for being part of this conversation. We can still do more by sharing this. This is actually a recorded conversation, so let's try to go on our handle, the NDLA handle, share this conversation so that as many people that will benefit from this, all that have been shared on this platform today would benefit all those that will listen to them thereafter. Okay, on this note, I'd like to also appreciate my colleagues that have been behind the scene assisting me here. Shidi Musa, Francis, Mahmoud Dele, Valfield, Blessing, Shade Comfort, Netta, Jane, and the rest of you. I cannot mention all of your names too, but I appreciate everybody. Thank you very much. It's Friday, like we say. Thank God it's Friday, but then let's remember we have to be responsible. We have to abstain from things that will get us into trouble. And number one on that list is substance abuse. Please let's be intentional. Let's be careful, and let's not run into trouble. This brings us to the end of this until we come your way again next Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. I remain yours sincerely, Femi Babafemi, and I hand over now to my colleague, Mahmoud. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, sir, the host, and of course, the NDLE's Director of Media and Advocacy for guiding us throughout today's program. Before we go, our listeners who are enthusiastic about the agency can visit our social media handles at NDLE_Nigeria on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. On Facebook, it's at NDLE01. Do join us same time next week for another edition of this wonderful program. I remain Mahmoud Isa. Over to you, Bamidele.